What is up, everyone? Welcome to 5 Things We Learned from Game Week 16. My name is Ryan, and welcome to the Football Chatbox. And let's get straight into the video and see what we can take from the things we learned from Game Week 16 into Game Week 17. Let's go. All right, in number 1, we've got more FPL chaos. Haaland didn't play, looks like he's injured, which meant a lot of people got their vice captains coming on. Most of you had Salah, some of you had Saka, some had even Son. Well played there. So now we don't know what the status of Haaland fully is in terms of how long the extent of the injury is, because Pep Guardiola in his comments back said, well, he could be out for weeks, but I might even have to check with the doctor to see if he's available against Palace. Not those exact words, but in a similar sentence. So we kind of need to wait and see. Maybe hold him closer to the deadline, see whether you get any information on, is this guy actually not going to be available for Palace? Then I think I might even look at probably selling. Even if it means that he's probably back in Game Week 19. If he is back in Game Week 19, maybe I go back to him in Game Week 19. Maybe I can even wait because he's an Everton fixture. Everton are looking better and better. Maybe I just go and get him in Game Week 20 because there's only 2 days difference between Game Week 19 and Game Week 20. We need to consider that as well for City's fixtures. So that is something you also need to take into account. So maybe I just go get him in Game Week 20. So we'll have to see. If he misses the Palace game, then I'm looking to sell. To who? I think Solanke is probably a safe pick. I think Alvarez is actually a genuine option now that Haaland is injured, because who probably takes penalties for City now? Probably Alvarez, right? If he's on the pitch, and Alvarez is most likely going to start as well, given that Haaland's not there. So I think Alvarez is actually a genuine option. If you don't have Watkins, kind of think Watkins is probably the straightforward move that a lot of people are going to. Out of that, then there are a bit more punty moves. I think Jimenez, I still like the look of Fulham. They're doing well. We'll talk about Fulham later as well. But they're doing really well. And maybe even Cunha, because you look at Wolves' fixtures, and I need to check his data. But if you look at Wolves' fixtures, the next set of opponents on the FDR is like marked as 3. But to be honest, the teams that they're playing are all teams with poor defenses. So there are some slightly budgeted picks if you want to go there. But those are the picks I would probably look at. Would I go Darwin? Probably not. But the other 5 that I mentioned probably will go there as replacements. Now, let's move into point number 2. Oh, before we do, let me know who you're actually bringing in if you're going to sell Haaland. Let's move into point number 2. You get a ban, you get a ban, everyone gets a ban. Yes, that is it. How many bans do you have on your bench this week ahead of Game Week 17? Let me know in the comments, because I've got a couple. I got Braithwaite in. I knew he was on 4 yellows. He unfortunately went and got a 5th yellow. And he's now out for 17, which in one way is okay because he will be available for Game Week 18. The same with the man on the picture, Kieran Trippier. He's just had bad weeks. Got annihilated against Spurs. I just think Newcastle as a whole are just running on fumes. So anyways, he's also banned for Game Week 17. So people who don't have him, you can wait. You don't have to get him in immediately. You can look to get him in Game Week 18 if you want to. Charlie Taylor is another one who got banned as well. But I'm going to read out some players who are popular in FPL and are currently on 4 yellow cards. Matty Cash, 4 yellow cards. Havertz, 4 yellow cards. McGinn, 4 yellow cards. Palmer, 4 yellow cards. Sterling, 4 yellow cards. Robinson, 4 yellow cards. Joelinton, Lascelles, all on 4 yellow cards. Romero, Destiny Udogi, Fang Yi-chan, Ed Nouri, all on 4 yellow cards. This is something you might want to keep an eye out for when you're looking to make transfers. All these players that I mentioned, and you can find more on the Fantasy Football Scout site, they have a tracker. But all of these players I mentioned, I don't know if I would go and get them in Game Week 17. Given that there's a blank coming in Game Week 18, I might actually just wait till Game Week 17 is over before I go and get these players. The likes of Palmer, Sterling, you can probably wait 1 more week, because if you get them in 17 and they get a yellow, they're banned for 18, and then you're in a problem. So I probably wait on those players, right? Because of this main reason that there's a blank game coming in 18 and these guys are on 4 yellows and could get banned, right? So that's something you kind of want to keep in mind, especially when you're replacing Haaland for Alvarez as well. It's a slightly tricky one because you might have a Palmer like I do, and if I replace for Alvarez, which I would like to do as well, but if Palmer gets banned, then I need to kind of keep an eye out and see, can I afford to bench both Palmer and Alvarez in game week 18? And how will my team look? That's something that you guys also need to kind of keep an eye out for. How many players with yellow cards do you have in your team who are on 4 yellows? Have a look at that. Well, look at your team as well and see if you can manage to like have these benches happening in game week 18. So that's one thing to kind of consider. But let's move in to point number 2. Heung-min Son, you just had to go nuclear, and Son goes nuclear. Could have waited one more game week before I just went and got you in, but nope, he went, scored his second highest return in FPL this so far, and absolutely destroyed my rank. Luckily, Spurs lost their clean sheet, others would have been outside the top 1 million again. But thankfully, they lost their clean sheet, and I didn't go outside the top million, but yeah, absolutely destroyed it. Congrats to all of you who had Son. Now with Haaland's injury, he is the second best option in the game right now. I've gone and got him in. Spoiler alert, I've gone and done the transfer, got him in. But yeah, Son goes nuclear. And now with Haaland potentially being out, and if he is out, a lot more people can afford Heung-min Son. So yeah, let's see how the EO looks forward to game week 17. But let's go to number 4. 5-star Fulham. Again, feels like only last week, if you check the game week 15 5 things we learned video, that I mentioned the same exact thing. And they go again, and they go and return again. I mentioned Iwobi, Willian, Robinson, Jimenez. I mentioned all of them as really good options for people who were looking for. And again, they go and deliver. Now, they've got our next couple of fixtures are a bit more trickier. But honestly, they're a decent team. And Leno, anyone who went and got Leno as a goalkeeper shout, well done to you. Got a couple returns so far. Now, Fulham, they've got Newcastle next. Newcastle are running on fumes. So I feel like that's a good game for Fulham, to be honest. Burnley, Bournemouth. Bournemouth have improved, but again, still good fixtures for Fulham. Arsenal, Chelsea, Everton, Burnley. And so until game week 23, I think the toughest fixture right now is probably Arsenal, and then maybe Newcastle, because Newcastle are still playing at home. Newcastle at home are better. So mainly Arsenal as the tough fixture. I think Fulham is still a really good shot to go and get players from that team, to be honest. They're playing well. 10 goals in the last 2 game weeks. Nothing short of just impressive. I think they definitely deserve the credit they're getting. And they definitely need more eyes on them as a team as well. They're performing really well. Let's move into point number 5. Shambles at the back. And now I've got Reece James on here because he got subbed off. I think at this point you should just accept that Reece James is not a good FPL option with his injury status and everything. If you have him, just sell him. Okay, that's it. Okay, cool. But anyways, Shambles at the back. It's not only Chelsea I'm referring to. I'm also referring to the likes of Manchester United, the likes of West Ham, the likes of who else? Newcastle on fumes, which is a problem. I think they need a break and that will help them. But Chelsea, United, West Ham, all 3 of these teams right now. Can I add anyone else? Well, you have the usual Burnley and Brighton who always can concede as well. But the other 3 mainly are not looking good. Defensively, they'll concede a lot of chances. If you got attackers playing against these teams, and Salah is a massive captaincy option now that Haaland is most likely looking to be out, which means Salah is just going to be captain number 1, and that's it. And if you have your Liverpool players, I would not be looking to get rid of my Liverpool players. I would play every single Liverpool player against United. Who are Chelsea playing? Chelsea are playing Sheffield United. Okay, Chelsea at home. Maybe Chelsea have some kind of hope. Because Sheffield United do struggle to score. And then you got West Ham playing Wolves. I told you, Matheus Cunha. Huang owners could be a good game. These teams are not looking great at the back in terms of defensive at the moment. And yeah, I would probably look to target these teams from an attacking point of view. But yeah, that's 5 things we learned from game week 16. That's the recap of game week 16. Let me know what you learned from game week 16. And if you have any questions, put it in the comments. And we also got an early podcast this week. We're doing it on Tuesday at 8 a.m. Sydney time. That's tomorrow, basically, 8 a.m. Sydney time, with FPL Black Wolf Dan from the FPL USA region. So we're getting some representatives from there. That's 8 a.m. Sydney time. That would be 9 p.m. UK time. So all you UK folks who subscribed, perfect time for you all. 1 p.m. Pacific time. Unfortunately, I think that's 2:30 a.m. IST. So a bit unfortunate for the South Asian folk. But you guys can watch it back always. And if you want me to ask any questions to Dan, put it in the comments. And make sure to join Discord as well. Thank you all for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, and I'll see you all later.
Hold me close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us.